Hey everybody, welcome back to Fantasy Theory. In this video, I kind of want to talk about some speculation, or you could say a theory, that I really think they may be going down this path with how The Boys Season 4 is going, and that is, I think The Boys Season 4 will kill Billy Butcher. Now, I feel like there's a good amount of evidence that points to that, but I also just have this gut feeling, and I kind of remember a report that came out a while ago about like behind the scenes stuff, but we're going to go through it all in this video. I'm kind of going to be spitballing and, just looking at different articles. There's one article in particular I want to look at from Screen Rant that kind of talks about like a certain thing about Billy Butcher, which now at this point, if you didn't know, there are spoilers for the comics. So I'll give you a second to click off if you don't want to be spoiled for season 4 or potentially season 5. They may do this theory in season 5. So yeah, but I'll give you a second to come off. Okay. So this article that starts off with it kind of hints at a potential of Billy Butcher dying and being killed by Huey, the one who was defending him, the only one left that's defending him in the boys group. So the article talks about that because this is an origin. This is from the comic origin of what happens with Billy and how it ends, because I don't really know the comics that well. I know a little bit about it, like the Black Noir theory that I came out that aged like spoiled milk, and eventually I believe Homelander dies. I don't think Ryan is a big part of the show. However, if he's part of the show at all, to be honest with you, but Homelander, I think, dies before the actual ending, and Billy Butcher becomes kind of the bad guy at a point, and it brings Huey to the end. So let's talk about this article real quick. It is indeed Huey who kills Butcher in Garth Ennis's original The Boys comic story. Butcher stood on the verge of committing genocide against Supes in the final chapters, and Huey stepped in to kill him. Huey was the last remaining member of The Boys by that point, meaning no one else could bring the rampaging Butcher down. It must be noted, however, that Huey only took such a drastic action because Butcher falsely claimed to have killed Huey's parents. That same story will now work for The Boys Season 5. Huey's parents have now both appeared in the TV show, leaving Carl Urban's live-action Butcher with no obvious means of sending his surrogate brother into an angry, murderous rage. Instead, Huey would need to find his own reason to kill Butcher, and The Boys Season 4, Beware the Jabberwock, My Son, gives him precisely that. Huey no longer needs to be manipulated into killing Butcher because Huey Sr.'s death teaches him that when a loved one is too far gone, whether it be a cat, a parrot, or a crowbar-wielding mentor with a bad British accent, death is the kindest course of action. Now, let's talk about that. So, again, in the comic books, Butcher pretty much kills his parents, which is not what they're going with the story in this TV show. And Eric Kripke, the showrunner, has been upfront about, certain things that happen in the comics won't happen, and certain things that happen in the comics will happen. It's really just, it's a different story. It's a, different take on it, which is completely fine. I really like the show, seasons 1 through season 4, but I like this theory because it shows Huey, letting his father go in that last episode when he was going through that struggle of trying to keep him alive for so long, and then having to actually be the one to peacefully kill him could actually play into another mentor of his, perhaps maybe even Butcher being more of a mentor, that he has to kill his loved ones. Now, the show does hint, and I do see a few articles about this, the show hints that Butcher may have some suit powers after taking so many of the Temp V syringes. They could very well be going with the story that the Temp V is now kind of stuck in his blood and is causing him to become a soup at the same time killing him, so his powers are killing him. And one way we can kind of recognize that is what happens with Ezekiel, the pastor, when they fight in, I think, episode 3, was it? Or episode 4? When he fights Ezekiel in the trailer and he blacks out after being choked out by Ezekiel, and Ezekiel is he's just dead. He's all over the place. He's splattered into pieces. So that could be a hint that he's starting to maybe lose it a little bit and go crazy, just like in the comics. So in the comics, it said in that article from what I got is that all the boys are gone. Frenchie, Mother's Milk, which at this point, another thing that I'm realizing as I'm making this video, Frenchie at this point, he's in jail. I mean, for what we know at this point, he's in jail, so that's one of the members gone already. They're already setting up this soup virus to kind of be a way that Billy will go crazy, and obviously Huey will want to save Starlight when he couldn't save his other girlfriend from A-Train, so he'll want to save Starlight from, that soup killing virus that Butcher is talking about. And as we know, they think from the last episode that virus is gone, but Butcher kidnapped Victoria Newman's husband or baby daddy. I don't know what he is at this point, but he wants him to create more of that. And he's kind of going down this darker path, which now really, the more I talk about it, the more I can see it happening. Do I want it to happen? No, not really. I mean, Butcher has been one of my favorite characters in The Boys besides from like Homelander, and honestly this season made me love A-Train. I know it's pretty funny, and Kamiko's great too. So I don't want to see Butcher have to go through this insane story where he actually becomes the villain in this and goes way too far, leaving Huey to kill him. Could I see this potentially happening though? Yes, I do. I can see this happening because it's The Boys, it's not predictable, even if it is predictable and they're going, by the comics, then that is predictable that it's going to happen. But I think it's so unpredictable that it could actually happen. Again, they're teasing Butcher so much in season 4 that he's going to die. He only has a few months to live. I mean, he's got that tumor. He can't even stand up sometimes. He's throwing up. There's no way I could see him not dying at this point. I feel like they're pushing it so much that it may just very well happen. And maybe in his final moments, he starts to go crazy trying to fulfill this thing with Becca, that he may go through any means to kill Homelander. And even if that means killing tons of other soups, that really could mean that. When I came into this video though, I wasn't thinking about that theory. The theory I was thinking about is he may just die cleanly trying to save Ryan. I mean, I feel like the show is hinting at a Homelander versus Ryan season finale. Not season finale maybe, but maybe show ending in season 5. And as we know, Eric Kripke the showrunner, has says that season 5 is the final season for the Boys' main storyline, but there'll still be like Gen V and the Boys spin-off Mexico series, and I believe one other one. So for the main story, Homelander's, I would assume, demise will come within season 4, but most likely season 5. And obviously we want to see Butcher get his revenge, but we also want to see Ryan kind of come out of his dad's shadow, kind of become his own hero, which is not really looking good at this point, but I believe he'll snap right back into the good of it. But I think it will maybe, perhaps, if it doesn't come from Huey killing him, what could happen is that in a final showdown in season 4, I don't think season 5, I think season 4, in a final showdown, last ditch effort, instead of dying naturally, which could be a case, but I think instead of dying naturally, he will be killed by Homelander to save Ryan. I don't think Ryan will go under Homelander's manipulation by the end of the season, and in like a last ditch effort, Homelander will try to kill Ryan, but Butcher will step in, maybe take like a laser to himself or something. But it will be a very emotional scene, kind of reminiscent of when Becca died in Butcher's arms. Ryan will see Butcher die in his arms. So it's an interesting thing that I would think would be really cool and give him a hero's ending. And I know they've been teasing him not to be the hero. He's been kind of, in lighter terms, shit on by the rest of the boys. Mother's Milk, not so Frenchie, but Starlight. And we even see Kamiko kind of take like a better look at Butcher. But that's kind of what I wanted to go through. I do think in season 4, in some way, Butcher will meet his demise and Butcher will die, and the boys will actually do that, which it's kind of bittersweet. I mean, I know the show's ending in season 5, but do we want just a happy ending where Butcher, something happens with the tumor and he eventually lives, or they take the tumor out and he lives, or another soup uses their powers, which I have another theory about that I could talk about, but they take their powers and save him? Or do we want to see this sacrifice from Butcher, leaving the boys behind and his son, well, I guess stepson, behind to fight Homelander, a Ryan versus Homelander thing? There's a lot that do they want to go down like an Avengers route where like it's like all the good guys are going to take on all the bad guys? It's a weird thing that I don't know what they're going to do, but I could really see this being a credible theory. But you let me know what you think of this down below. Let me know if you have any theories of what's going to happen to Butcher, because I'm so curious about this. I love Butcher. I think he's so great in the show. But you let me know down below. Leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching today's speculation or theory, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have an incredible day.